Hello and welcome to Crisil's podcast on airport sector. We expect a 30% rise in the revenues of leading airport operators this fiscal. This is on the back of increasing passenger traffic and tariff hikes which are linked with CAPEX, as well as rising spending in the airport ecosystem which we call non-aeronautical revenue. And this increase in revenue will help to restore the cushion for debt servicing to around 1.4 times, taking it back to the level last seen before the pandemic. In fact, airports had dipped into their cash reserves during the pandemic period to service debt. This is based on a study of 10 private airports that accounted for an estimated 60% of overall passenger traffic in fiscal 2024. As passenger volumes rise, which we expect to rise by 10% this fiscal, airports will see an increase in both aeronautical revenue, which is the fees collected from passengers, airlines, and cargo operators, as well as from the non-aeronautical revenue, such as revenues from advertising, retail, lounge, and duty-free shops. About two-thirds of the increase in the revenue is expected from aeronautical sources. This is because almost half the airports in the Crisil rating study will clock a predetermined increase in their aeronautical tariffs by 25% on average. These tariffs are regulated and allow for cash flow required by airports to service the debt availed for aeronautical capex. They also provide for a return on equity for the operators. Airports had undertaken a significant expansion during the pandemic to more than double their capacity in anticipation of the current spurt in passenger volume. The rise in aeronautical tariffs is compensating for these capacity expansions. The remaining one-third of the revenue growth will be driven by non-aeronautical sources, which is rising passenger spends on retail and food and beverage, as well as real estate leasing and advertising. The recovery in the revenue growth trajectory after 3 years of decline led by the pandemic comes at the right time to support the increasing debt obligations of private airport operators. With the projected increase in revenue, the debt cover of operators is expected to recover to 1.4 times, a level last seen before the pandemic between fiscals 2018 and 20. That said, the projections remain sensitive to factors that can hamper air traffic growth, such as a material worsening in aircraft availability. With this, we come to an end to the podcast. Thank you for listening in and stay safe.